Shakira. I had one conversation with her there,
So
one conversation with her on the stairs.
do you still like Shakira?
I still have feelings for Shakira, yeah.
When I asked him, like, oh, when Emma said that I love you, did you tell her that you love her? He was like, no, I never said that.
No, shit.
I feel like a fool.
With friends like Dejon, who needs enemies? I don't get it. The fact that he's leaving his boy out in the wind to dry on his own doesn't make sense. I understand why now Dejon and Meg get along. I really do. And also, Blue thought he was going to get a moment with Tony, and sadly, that fell flat like a lead balloon. Poor thing. Harry is not the villain that everyone wants to create him to be. He's not the monster that everybody perceives him to be. That's the impression that I get. Or that's just my opinion. Because at the end of the day, yes, he's flirted with every girl that he's come across. Yes, maybe he should have been a bit more mature given his age. But at the end of the day, he has always owned up to his crap. You can't say Harry has disrespected any girl in the sense that he's spoken to them the way Dejon speaks to the girls. You can't say that. Yes, he's been wrong when it comes to his couples and the girls he's been exploring. But still, at that, he's not the worst person in the villa. So I don't get why they're trying to villainize him. Helena is not a victim. At the end of the day, you reap what you sow. She knew what she was doing the day she pulled this man out of bed with Shakira. She knew what she was doing when she tried to take him back to the hideaway the day he broke up with Shakira. So I do not think she's upset because of the fact that he embarrassed her. I think she's upset that she tried to steal him from Shakira and he still never got over Shakira. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island UK, Season 12, Episode 47. Sadly, if you're a Helena, Dejon, and Meg stan, even Megan, empathy doesn't live here for them. You might need to jump onto the next clip because this might not be the place for you. At the end of the day, as far as I am concerned, Valerie, they're reaping what they sowed. These people came up with a plan to sort of uncouple Harry in his couple with Shakira because they didn't think Shakira deserved to be with Harry. And at the end of the day, they knew none of the guys would want to be in a couple with Helena for forever. And they came up with this thing and they had Dejon whispering in Harry's ear to sort of uncouple with Shakira. So this is the fruits of their labor. They need to keep it stepping. So we have the next award, which is Best No Filter Moment. What do I think? First up is Dejon. They showed us, Yasmin asking him to go and for a chat. She wanted to apologize. And the sarcastic remark he made, personally, I'm offended at the fact that nobody called out Dejon for saying that. Oh, I told Jamie to fix this woman. And it's like, why? Why do we think it's funny? Why do we think it's something to clap about? That's a sexist comment. Why would he say that? How would he have felt had somebody turned around and said, Dejon, you need to go and fix your woman? How would he feel? So the audacity for people sitting there to laugh and gig, it's not funny. And I think watching the clip play, he realized where he had gone wrong. This is why he started saying, oh, yes, but I spoke to you the next day and I explained myself and I apologized, didn't I? And it's like, nah, we already bought what you gave us the first time. This reinvention of yours is not making any sense. I think he sort of decided to sit down with Yas after Megan told him that you're not coming across very good with the fans. Next up was Shakira and Tony, when they were saying they were happy for Meg and they wouldn't comment about Dejon sort of asking her to be his girlfriend. Dejon didn't like this. He was in his feelings about this. You had Connor, laughing at it because he thought it was funny. Everybody can see through it. And so for Dejon to be upset that the girls are trying to make him be the villain in this story, it's like, no, the truth is you would never have asked Megan to be your girlfriend had you known that you'd get away with it. You didn't need to ask her to be your girlfriend once you became exclusive. You could have easily gone, instead of going to exclusive, you could have asked her to be your girlfriend. But you are playing the game. You want to go through the full checklist of Love Island, and this is why you're offended. For Megan to say, Dejon is very nice to these girls, I don't get why they're horrible to him. Love, please keep quiet. We're not here for it. We are not here for it, and we're not buying that nonsense. You had Harry having a conversation with Harrison saying that, he can go back to Shakira anytime he wants to, if he wanted to. And it's like, this is the problem when you force someone to come out of their or to uncouple from their partner, because at the end of the day these people forced Harry to be someone he didn't want to be, and then once that happened they then turned around and started clutching their pearls to say, or Harry's being disrespectful. Harry was happy. He was the man that Shakira wanted, but he was never going to be the man that Helena wanted. So for Helena to be offended by this, I do not get it. At the end of the day, Tony and Shakira won. Hey, the fans were always going to give it to Tony and Shakira. For Megan to sit there and say, I'm not going to clap, I don't think it's funny. Well, who asked you? Anyway, next up was Unfinished Business. Unfinished Business, first off, you had Connor and Megan, and they were talking about the little red bracelet that he gave her. Personally, I don't understand how Connor likes Megan. I think he likes Megan because he's got no other choice. This is the impression that I get. And I think he's trying to go for a redemption act at that, oh, it was always going to be Megan. But at the end of the day, Megan has worse traits than the people he's left in couplings. He's left people because they are outspoken, but they were outspoken in self-defense. Megan has been outspoken in disrespecting other people and alienating other people. So I don't know how long that will last. We had Emma and Harry. Harry said he loves her. He'll always have love for her. And they were joking about seeing each other at home and winning the show. And so, personally, I don't get why this woman is upset. Really, I don't. For her to say, every time they show a clip of you, you're embarrassing me. And it's like, you forced this man to be in a couple with you. You chased him like a dog in heat. And now he's showing you who he is. You're now complaining. You knew who he was the moment you tried to steal him from Shakira. So the audacity to steal him and expect him to be the man to you that he was being to Shakira is ludicrous. He was never going to be that guy. He was willing to give Shakira the world, but he was never going to give you even a teaspoon. So please take several seats. We're not here for it. They then had Shakira and Harry was saying, do you think this would have been a better experience for you had you stayed with me? And Shakira is saying no. Helena is now in her feelings. Why would you say that to Shakira? Why would you? This is my thing. I think there's this inferiority complex within Helena that she can't understand that her being who she is, how can Harry not like her and like these two sort of girls from ethnic minority groups? This is what she can't understand. In my opinion, I might be wrong, but that's the impression that it's giving. Because why else is she more offended about him exploring Shakira or Emma than she is about him exploring Angel? For example, about Angel, yeah, she was upset, but she wasn't really that bothered. But suddenly it's Shakira and Emma, and she's clutching her pearls, and she's furious, and she's about to explode. Oh, it is what it is. Anyway, Connor and Megan won. I don't see that connection lasting, even if they leave the villa together, so hey. Anyone wondering why they kept Shakira now understands, because at the end of the day, out of the 7 awards that we saw, 4 or 5 of them were for Shakira. The rest would have been boring without Shakira. So I now understand if anyone else didn't understand why production didn't want Shakira leaving. So we move on to the next award, which is most emotional moment. Meg was excited. She thought this was her moment to shine. Even her girl was hyping her up, saying, you're always crying, this is your moment. And sadly, it wasn't her moment, because we started off with Cash crying on the terrace, saying he was embarrassed because Tony hadn't told him that, she was going to pick Harrison, so he felt humiliated, he felt embarrassed. For Blue to interject and sort of say, oh, so how do you feel about that, Tony, knowing that he cried? And it's like, well, how do you think she felt? You were at home. I love that Tony was quick with it and sort of cut him off before he could say anything. And Jazz was saying Tony wasn't having a walk in the park. She was also crying as well. So it's not just him that was crying. She was upset as well. It's not like she was cheering in the background. And it's like he needs to shut up. He said, well, I'm here now, so I have to give my opinion. No, he's trying to be Shane from last season, and it's not working for him, sadly. Next up was Shakira crying and saying she's tired of fake people. For Megan to say right back at you, it's like, love, this is why you're not being recognized as being emotional, because the audacity, the only thing you picked up about that was she's calling you fake people. Why she's calling you fake people didn't ring in your head, and this is why people don't like you. Tony came up, was the last one. She was saying goodbye to Harrison. She was distraught because she was saying, I always seem to be the education center for how to be a good boyfriend. Every time I train up someone, he moves on to somebody else. And so for her to say, all I know is pain, it really broke my heart. Cash won. Cash took it very lightly. He said, he wants to thank AI because it's advanced in 2025. It's becoming very real. And also he gave a shout out to his mom to let her know that he's okay, which was really cute. Next up was Critics' Choice. Apparently, Critics' Choice was voted for by Blue and Megan. First up was Harry and Dejon. And so they showed them on movie night when they were sort of, well, Harry was saying to Dejon, let's step up and sort of defend Helena and Meg. And Dejon was saying, keep quiet, because if we answer, then the girls are going to turn on us. And then they were also being sat at the fire pit by Tony. And this is when the boys really felt even worse, because first they saw Shakira crying, and then they saw their attitude towards Tony when Tony was calling them out and saying, what you're doing is unacceptable. You boys can't be making up things just because you're bored. And so it wasn't a good look. You could see it wasn't a good look, and Dejon was very embarrassed by that. Then we had Megan and Dejon talking about the girls bashing him and sort of being jealous, and it's like, wow, okay. I love that Yasmin was just looked and just rolled her eyes and just said, who's jealous of you? For Dejon to say the girls are always, bad-mouthing him and saying all the negative things about him, Tony was quick to say, it's not you, your character, that we disagree with. It's the way you behave. And so for him to say, oh, Megan, don't say anything, though, because he knew it would just be worse. He came in hoping it would be the next black winner. And sadly, he's lost it. He really has lost it. And he's realizing why, because he's always questioned why he wasn't popular with the fans, and seeing clips of himself and how he's come across. I think is now why he's realizing that, oh, this wasn't probably a good look. And it wasn't a good look for him to go and do Love Island. But that's just my opinion. Then we have Shakira and Harry. When Shakira was talking about wanting to go home, I think the day she wanted to leave, and Harry was sort of saying to her, I can't go with you, let's go together. He spoke about taking her on a date. This didn't sit well with Helena because she felt some type of way. And it's like, well, when you steal a guy, you get what you sowed for stealing that guy. Because Harry was content in his couple. You kept pushing and pushing and pushing and sent people to help you push him to come back to you. And sadly, he came back to you, but he never really left home. He just came with an overnight bag and was waiting for Shakira to fight for him and call him to come home, and then he would have gone home. So the grafties are finished and people walk away from, the grafties. They go into their little groups, and suddenly I think the clique were able to recruit. What this woman sees in the clique, I do not get, because I don't understand why Angel was even taking time to listen to Dejon and Meg sort of complain about the girls. Oh, you've always seen me, I'm very nice to the girls, so I don't get why they would say that behind my back. And it's like, you're not nice to them. When you were speaking to them disrespectfully at the snog Mary Pie, what is that? Someone who's nice to people? Please make it make sense. It's not making sense to the rest of us, so I don't get why Angel is still trying to hype you up for nonsense. Megan will always put up with whatever nonsense you're dishing her, but I don't understand. I thought Angel was smarter than that. You have Harry go for a chat in the den with Connor because he asked Connor for a chat. And so they're having this back and forth because Connor feels some type of way about, well, he feels disrespected because he feels like, at the end of the day, Harry should have told him what he was discussing with Shakira. And Harry's saying, well, I couldn't tell you that I was flirting with her. That's not a good look, especially if you're in a couple with her. I couldn't say that to you, so this is why I didn't tell you. On his part, Connor was upset because he feels like Harry keeps poking Shakira, knowing for a fact that Shakira is trying to move away from him. Yes, I think everybody agrees that, Harry needs to keep away, but then Harry is emotionally invested in Shakira. I said this, I think last review or the review before that. This is why he keeps checking up on her. This is why he's constantly speaking to her. And I think he's got such poor communication skills that when he's flirting, he thinks he's bringing her out of a sad space, not knowing that it's just making things worse. And then he's asked, what are you going to do because you need to mend things with Helena? And he spoke his truth and said, Helena, to me, it's friendship vibes. That's the impression that I get. I get with Shakira, it was more natural, it was more emotional. And he was trying to be the guy that Shakira needed. But sadly, his friend was whispering in his ear, he had Helena, Megan, whispering in his ear that you need to be with Megan. This is too much work for you. He could have left there a better person, but they were so selfish, they were focused on themselves. For Connor to remind him that, you could live here alone. It seems Harry's prepared to do that. I think if Shakira packs her bag, I wouldn't be surprised if Harry packs his bag and lets production hold him down. In the bedroom, you have Helena having a conversation with Meg because she's very upset. She says, I've been through a lot with this guy. It's like, He did not force you into a connection. You forced yourself into a connection with him. You kept pestering and pestering and pestering and making sexually suggestive remarks to try and win his affection. And when you got him, well, you lose them how you gain them. So it is what it is. For them to sort of be shocked that Harry is saying, I came in alone, I can leave alone. Yes, he's welcome to. Harrison came in alone, he left alone. If Harry wants to come in and leave alone, that's the truth of it. You all came in alone. You did not come in couples. You're worried that, oh, does he know that he's on a dating show? Well, he is on a dating show. Your friend is on a dating show. She says she doesn't want him. Who's going to couple up with her? Because nobody else wants her. So she has to suck it up and make ends meet and sort of find common ground with Harry. If he will take her back, you had... the girls at the fire pit, you had Yasmin, Tony, and Shakira. And I love that, they were laughing at the fact that Megan was saying people are jealous of her and Dejon. And they were like, how can we be jealous when you voted the biggest egg? How can we be jealous of that? And that's the truth. Why would they be jealous of the biggest egg couple? And it's like, Megan is so dumb. She's so dumb. I don't mean to offend anyone, but hey, that's the truth. Walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, looks like a duck, must be a duck. You had Megan sort of crying to Meg, and she's saying, I'm always here for everyone, and they are not here for me. And it's like, I don't think so. Someone, I think, put something on TikTok about this, showing that the girls have been very supportive of her. So I don't know where she's getting the impression that nobody's supportive of her. For her to end it with, at least I've got a boyfriend. Well, if that's what you think works for you, amazing. You have Connor join Yasmin, Shakira, and Cash at the fire pit. And so there's this conversation about Harry really said a lot of things. But what I like is the girls are saying with Harry, yes, he's a menace, but at least he owns up to his mess. Whereas with Dejon, he doesn't. And so everybody doesn't understand why Dejon always wants to pretend to be a victim. It came up, well, Cash brought it up that Harry said after me it was downhill, and he was sort of saying, why would he say that when he's friends with you? And it's like, it's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal. I don't get why Connor's pretending to be upset. I really don't. Tony then comes to join them. You then have Blue come and pull Tony for a chat. I think he was looking for a moment. I think he knows that his last time round, nobody really remembered him. This is why he's trying to look for a moment, trying to be a fan favorite, trying to get airtime. And so he is trying to sort of get something he can talk about when he leaves the villa, because he knows he's on his way out any moment now. So for him to try and say, oh, you're belittling me, I'm entitled to express my opinion. And it's like, you can express your opinion about anything, not about my relationship. This is what I loved about Tony, because she gave him a piece of her mind. Even the girls were saying, oh, she's about to eat him alive. And I have a feeling that Blue expected her to sit there and for him to dress her down, or he expected to have a lot longer with her than he did. So for her to just stand up and walk off, he didn't know what to do. He knows Tony doesn't like him. He knows Tony can't stand him. So the idea that he wants to continue this back and forth with her, I really do not get it. I don't know what he was hoping for in trying to sort of corner her and sit down. For him to go back to the clique and try and sit with him. Okay. You have Tony having a conversation with Cash, and she's saying that, watching the clips at the grafties and watching the clips on movie night is brought a lot of animosity amongst the girls. That's what I got from what she was saying, because it seems the girls have been able to just get along just for the sake of getting along. And now watching what Shakira and Tony have said has actually sort of heightened the tension in the villa. And I wonder how things would have played out had the truth been revealed about what Meg and Helena and Megan have been saying behind the girls' back. Sadly, we didn't get to see that. And I don't even know why Megan came back, because we didn't get to see what she did before she went home. I don't know whether that was the agreement with production, that they were never going to show that, or why we didn't get to see that. Cash on his part is sort of saying, it's a bit difficult to judge, because the girls are very nice to Cash, but they're horrible to the girls. Alima called them out for this, and she said, if we're going to be nice to the guys, let us be nice to the girls. But sadly, they only show their villainous side to the girls. They don't show that side to the boys, because I think they are hoping to explore connections with them. And then you had, Helena and Megan have this conversation about, her sort of standing up to Harry, and Megan is saying, I'm happy that you did stand up to him. Helena is mourning that she's been defending him. And it's like, you were never recruited to be Harry's defense team. So the audacity to say that, you were defending him against Emma. Oh, I defended him against Emma. I defended him against this girl. I did this. We called it out ages ago that you kept throwing the girls under the bus and saying Harry was the victim of the girls. So please keep quiet. You saying exclusive. I said it yesterday, I'll say it today. Exclusive is not a legally binding contract. That doesn't mean you're going to be together forever. You could be exclusive today and break up tomorrow. So you have to suck it up and do what you want with that. And then you have Harry pull Helena for a chat because the likes of Dejon were saying, oh, you know, I used to be Team Harry and Helena, now I'm not. You are the reason behind all of this because you are the one who was talking Harry into going back to Helena when he was happy in his couple with Shakira, but you insisted because you wanted to be the good guy and he be the bad guy. So please keep quiet. You have Helena and Harry sit at the fire pit. Helena is upset. She says she feels like an idiot. She feels like, she was, defending someone when she shouldn't have. She would like an opportunity to apologize to Emma because she called Emma out of her name. Well, if you're on that apology tour, you better start at Yasmin. Because you did the same thing to Yasmin, you did the same thing to Shakira. The only difference is with Shakira, you actually went to the extent of wearing her clothes and sort of trying to sort of be her and sort of embody who she is. So please, if your apology tour needs to start, it needs to start with Shakira. Harry said, I take accountability, which he does. He's been a menace, but he does take accountability for his actions. It's not like he's just blindly just going there, not taking responsibility. She asked him, why are you with me? Do you still have feelings for Shakira? And he said, yes. And the moment he said that, that's what triggered her. This is why she stormed off. Because somehow she tried to steal Harry and Harry didn't want to be stolen. Yes, he was able to steal him for a bit, but when it was time, he went back home or he wanted to go back home. He understands Shakira doesn't want him back, but he still had a stronger connection with Shakira. He behaved differently around Shakira. So for Helena, I don't think she was upset about any of the flirting with any of the girls. She was upset at the idea that irregardless of whether Shakira liked him or not, he still wanted Shakira over her. And she will never get over that. That is something that will carry her for the rest of her life because she felt she was better than Shakira and sadly she hasn't been able to sort of outmaneuver that. She then told him, I never want to be with you. And it's like, well, he never wants to be with you as well because he's still stuck on somebody else. She then went back to the day beds and Connor revealed that he had said it was friendship vibes. You had people now saying that they are no longer Team Harry and Helena. They're only Team Helena. And it's like, it is what it is. Dejon, of all the people, you are the mastermind behind encouraging him to go back to Helena. So the fact that you're sitting there and you don't think it's necessary for you to stand up and go and console your guy doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't, because I would have expected Dejon to stand up and go and check in on Harry. Irregardless of what he's done, that's his boy. He would have gone, check in. Hi, how are you? How's your mental health? I know you're not in a great space. Not for him to go into the bedroom with the guys and say, I'm surprised. I didn't expect this. Now he's clutching his pearls and he doesn't know. I asked him about the kiss and he never said anything. If Dejon doesn't win the money, all he needs to do is go home, lock himself in a room for 2-3 days and watch all 40-something or 50-something episodes of Love Island. And he will gain a clearer understanding of why he didn't win the money. Because with friends like him who needs enemies, how can you be helping your friend come up with plans and ideas of what to do? And then when your friend gets in trouble, you hide your hands behind your back and you say, oh, I didn't know anything. He didn't tell me anything. I didn't realize that this was going on. Yeah, I didn't like the tension in the film. I didn't like how everyone was alienating him, Harry, and making it seem like he was the villain. I'm happy that Tony shouted at him that I don't hate you. Yes, you've done wrong things, but I don't hate you, which was good for him. Really good for him. I think he needed that. He needed to hear that. I think at this point, if Shakira leaves, as we are assuming that she left, I wouldn't be surprised if Harry left behind her. I wouldn't be surprised because what's the point of him staying there? People have shown him their true colors. And then people are surprised when they're told you're the villains of the villa because someone is your close friend. They are in trouble. Instead of you stepping up and helping your friend, you are amongst those people that are conspiring and sort of saying some of the most negative thing about your friend. So what sort of friend are you? When are you my friend? Are you only my friend through the good times? I don't get it. And I hope Harry sees this and realizes that Dejon is not his friend. And I think Dejon's friends in real life should question whether this is who he is. If he is, then maybe you need better friends than Dejon. You could tell that Harry was feeling very low because he just picked up his stuff and he went and he slept out on the day beds. And then when everybody got into the bedroom, Helena was like, oh, he must feel really bad because he's gone to sleep outside, hasn't he? And it's like, seriously, you're making yourself to be a victim when you're not a victim. She's not a victim as far as I'm concerned. She chased this man, pursued this man. Even on the day, I'm going to repeat, that he broke up with Shakira, she still wanted to take him to the hideaway. So the audacity to suddenly feel aggrieved and feel like I'm the victim, he played me. He did not play you. He was honest with you from day one. He told you were a good time girl. You didn't buy it. And this is where it lands you, because he's never been emotionally invested in you. The moment you told him about the Eiffel Tower, he lost all interest in you. And so sadly, this is where you are, and you have to deal with it, because he's called you a good time girl, he's labeled you that, and he's emotionally invested in other people outside of you, and you didn't want to see that because you kept having these ideas and these impressions of who you thought this man was. Anyway, I digress. The islanders get ready for the night. They all go to sleep, and you have, you know, poor Harry sleep outside. I feel sorry for him. I don't think he deserves the flack for what he's getting from everybody else, but that's just my opinion. We'll see what happens. Maybe he'll leave with Shakira, maybe he won't. I think he should leave. I think it's time for him to leave, because he's never going to have a connection with anyone. Even if he goes back to Helena, it will never be the same. It will just be to get to the end of the show. So anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 46. Bye everyone.